My wife cheated, and I took revenge in a way she never saw coming. All right, so this might be long, but I need to get this off my chest. I, 28M, have been married to my wife Claire, 27F, for about 3 years. Things were going great, or at least I thought they were. We bought a house, got a dog, did all that couple stuff. I trusted her 100%, so this is going to sound insane, but just hear me out. Lately, though, some weird stuff started happening. She'd come home later and later, always claiming she was busy with work. She'd always be on her phone, and when I'd ask about her day, she'd get a little defensive or change the subject super fast. Now, I'm not the type to be suspicious without reason. But after a while, I started to get this weird gut feeling that something wasn't right. I brushed it off at first because who wants to be that guy, right? But then, I found out the hard way. One day, I decided to come home early from work to surprise her. We'd been talking about making dinner and watching a movie, so I figured I'd beat her home. But when I walked in, I immediately noticed her car in the driveway, which was weird because she told me she was at some work event that was supposed to last until late, so I'm thinking maybe it ended early. I walk inside, expecting her to be in the kitchen or living room, but no. I hear voices coming from the bedroom, Claire's voice and a guy's voice. I freeze. I don't know what to do. I think it's a mistake, so I stand there for a second, listening, hoping it's a misunderstanding. But no. Then I hear her laugh, and I know what's happening. I don't need to hear anymore. I slowly back out of the house. I don't even go inside. I just get in my car, drive around aimlessly for a couple of hours because I don't know what to do. I'm not crying, I'm just numb. Like, I knew something was off, but this is beyond what I thought. I didn't confront her. I didn't yell. I just left. The next few days were a blur. I didn't eat much. I didn't sleep much. Claire kept texting me, asking what was going on, if I was mad at her, but I couldn't bring myself to respond. I didn't know what to say. I was too angry, too hurt, too confused. Update 1. All right, so I've had some time to think, and I know I've got to deal with this. The silence and avoidance aren't going to cut it anymore. After a couple of days of me being a complete mess, I realized I wasn't going to just roll over and let her get away with this. I don't want to just walk away. I want her to feel what she did. But I'm not the type to get into a big screaming match or make a scene. I'm not about that life. I want to make sure she feels the weight of her actions without me losing my cool. So here's what I did. I did some digging. I needed to know who this guy was. Turns out his name is Alex, and surprise, surprise, they met through work. She didn't just bump into him. They had been talking for months. So yeah, betrayal on top of betrayal. But I didn't go to him directly. That wouldn't be fun. I needed a subtler way to make him uncomfortable. I found Alex's social media, and I saw he had a history of messy relationships. Nothing serious. So I thought, I'll use that against him. I got his number, thanks to some mutual acquaintances of Claire's, and texted him from a burner phone. I pretended to be an ex-girlfriend of his, someone who was still bitter about how things ended. I sent him a text that said something like, "You can't just act like you never cared about me. We have unfinished business." Nothing too crazy, just enough to make him think twice about what he was doing. I wasn't about to have a confrontation with this guy, but I wanted to mess with his head a little, make him second-guess everything. I also started showing up at places Claire and I used to go, our local coffee shop, the park, the bar where we went on our first date. I didn't approach her, didn't talk to her. I just existed in the same spaces. I knew it'd make her uncomfortable. I knew it'd mess with her. She couldn't figure out why I was there, why I was suddenly all around her. Every time I bumped into her, I didn't acknowledge her, I just acted normal. As if I hadn't just caught her in bed with another dude. And yeah, it drove her insane. She started reaching out to me, texting, calling, asking if I was mad at her. I ignored every single message. AIT for not confronting her directly but letting her squirm a little. I'm just trying to let her feel what she did. Update 2. Okay, so here's where things get really interesting. After I started playing my little mind games with Claire, she finally called me. No texts, no passive-aggressive messages, just a straight-up phone call. I could tell she was freaking out. She was probably hoping I'd be ready to hear her excuses. I picked up, didn't yell, didn't cry, just told her straight, "I know about you and Alex, and you don't get to keep lying. You've broken my trust, and I'm done." I didn't even wait for her to respond. I just hung up. Simple as that. After that, she started blowing up my phone even more. I didn't answer. I wasn't trying to rub it in, I just didn't want to hear it. Honestly, hearing her voice just made me more pissed off. But I did hear through friends and family that she was spiraling. She started reaching out to Alex, trying to fix things, but apparently he wasn't answering her calls anymore. He was done. I heard from some mutual friends that Alex had started ghosting her, so she was left hanging, desperate to fix things with him. But the best part? She started talking to her friends and family, trying to explain herself, but it wasn't going well. People could see through her act. Her friends stopped supporting her. Even her family started pulling away. And that's when I realized I didn't need to do anything else. Life was doing the work for me. Claire was unraveling, and I didn't have to lift a finger. So now I'm sitting here wondering if I went too far. Did I manipulate the situation too much? Was it wrong to not confront her directly and just let everything play out this way? Was I too petty? Anyway, that's where I'm at. I don't really feel angry anymore. I just feel done. She's dealing with her own mess now, but I can't help but wonder if I crossed a line somewhere. Let me know what you think. Should I have handled it differently?